Hello everyone, I'm Vince Bailey.
And I'm Sachi Koto, and welcome to Diversity USA.
Diverse City USA, where we say it's the place where all Americans live, learn, work, and play.
And this program will impact everyone because the bottom line, common denominator, is that we're all human beings. We have differences and we have similarities.
And we can all work, learn, live, play, everything together. And that's what we want to show you on this program.
You don't want to miss this program.
Coming up, the GMSDC, you're going to learn about a wonderful organization that is helping minority businesses land major contracts.
We'll be talking with the president of the Mexican American Business Chamber, Alejandro Cos.
Curtis Lovejoy, a true American hero. He's a paraplegic, he's African American, and yes, he's a world-class athlete.
On the set today, we'll have Linda Story from the American Cancer Society, and she'll be telling us what their organization is doing in the community.
Asian Americans have had a storied history here in America, but I don't think you know the whole story. You will today. And on August the 28th is a big day. It's Who's Who in Asian American Communities, or the WAC Awards. And Sachi, I know you're excited about that.
Oh, I am.
So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't touch that dial.
Stay with us.
Diverse City USA is on the air. The Georgia Minority Supplier Development Council, or GMSDC, is a leading nationwide nonprofit 501c3 organization that was established to facilitate profitable relationships between corporations, governmental agencies, and minority businesses throughout the state of Georgia.
We're a job creation organization. We develop minority businesses, and we help corporations improve their bottom line by working with minority business owners.
GMSDC is now one of the largest of 37 councils nationwide, with over $4 billion spent with minority businesses in 2008.
Well, it kind of dates back into the early 1970s. Businesses were extremely small. Resources were barely negligible. Things like contracting with a corporation was almost a joke.
Back in the early days, the minority business owners were not considered members of the GMSDC, or back then we called it the ARMPC, and they didn't have any voting rights or anything like that, but they didn't charge any dues to them either.
GMSDC started in a strong program of developing companies with training and knowledge that they would need to know in order to do business with large corporations.
We're very proud of the minority business owners that are a part of GMSDC. When we see them get new contracts, we see their businesses grow, that's what we're about. We have well over 600 businesses that are a part of our council. We're very proud of what they do, not only locally here in Georgia, but nationally, and many are global, and have the competency and the capacity to work at any level in serving our corporate partners.
Delivering against the promise to certify, develop, and connect means much more than an approved stamp on an MBE application or helping a corporate buyer source a supplier. It means that GMSDC exists as a valuable tool and respected partner to optimize the probability of realizing individual and business goals.
We need to have access. We need to have certified suppliers, and the GMSDC provides that for us.
We have a number of success stories of suppliers that we work with that were a mom and pop shop or a one-person shop that got a start, got their foot in the door with our business, and have grown, and we really enjoyed seeing that.
We've grown from a $500,000 a year sales organization in the early years to now last year, I'm proud to say that we fell just shy of $50 million in sales. And I don't think that would have been possible without having the strength of the foundation that was originally developed and fostered through the support of many of the corporate customers with the GMSDC.
We have been able to have access to individuals and to companies that you would not have just coming to just being at a luncheon or something. You get face-to-face relationships and mentorships if you're engaged and if you get involved.
When I went in business in 1987, we joined the council, we went from doing about $25,000 a year to over a couple of $1 million. And it began to really sprout and grow our business.
I don't know if I would be as successful as I am today or have as many customers as we do today, and well-known customers, Fortune 500, 100 customers, without the GMSDC. That totally opened the door to the quality kind of customers that one would expect or hope their business would grow accustomed to providing services to.
We've been involved with GMSDC 20 plus years, actually through General Motors, which was our first corporate client back 20 years ago or so. For me to actually try new things like being in an expo, dealing with corporate buyers, and the education, the networking, the overall B2B that gets done at GMSDC has been instrumental for us.
GMSDC offers vital educational and trend-setting events and programming designed to expand the business acumen, skills, knowledge, experience, and reach of our corporate member partners and MBEs.
I've served as the MC of the Business Opportunity Luncheon, and so I'm an advocate for the Opportunity Luncheon because it's usually about 100 to 150 people that attend, and you're able to really meet people one-on-one and see what opportunities they may have, if not for you, but for someone else you may know who is a business owner.
I see the growth, not in terms of the number of MBEs, number of corporate members, but also in terms of the capabilities of the organization. What we want to do is to have more corporations get involved in the network and buy more products and services, and from more GMSDC certified MBEs, and the board members have been there for us and take the lead in making that happen.
There is a lot to be done. As the NMSDC Council of the Year, we are looking to continue to make a difference in the state of Georgia. We'll continue to make a difference throughout the NMSDC network, and we will continue to make this council the premier council throughout the country.
Wow, what a great organization, GMSDC. Did you hear that, Sachi? $4 billion spent with minority businesses in 2008.
You know, Vince, that behooves all minority businesses to get on board, join the organization, get certified, and most importantly, get part of that funding.
Get part of that funding, and it's out there. There are many organizations that are doing a wonderful job and all about helping minority businesses get going.
And you met with the president of the Mexican American Business Chamber, a similar organization.
Over at the Latin American Association, so check this out. We're here at the Latin American Association building on Buford Highway, and we're here with the president of the Mexican American Business Chamber, Alejandro Costs, and your way to success, that is the slogan. And tell us a little bit about the Mexican American Business Chamber.
Well, the Mexican American Business Chamber was created 11 years ago. It was born on the initiative of several Hispanic entrepreneurs who saw the need of an organization who represented Hispanic businesses here in Georgia. And in particular, you know that the Hispanic market has grown tremendously in the state, and it has become very important. A lot of that Hispanic market is of Mexican origin. So a lot of the companies here serving the Hispanic market were also doing business with Mexico directly or indirectly. And that's how we were created. Mexico, it's a very important trading partner of the state of Georgia. Right now, Mexico is the third most important destination for Georgia exports. A lot of people don't know that, but and that relationship has grown over the last few years.
And the role of the Mexican American Business Chamber is to bring people together and increase the knowledge of the great industry, the great business, the great community, the Mexican American community.
Well, yes, and not only the Mexican American community, as I said, really our name goes more to that relationship with Mexico that, as I said, is very important. But we are as diverse as the Hispanic population here in the state, all the way from our board to our membership. Our members are Hispanic, regardless of their nationality or origin, and also non-Hispanics. So all our members are really companies that are either focusing on the Hispanic market, they can be Hispanic-owned or not Hispanic-owned, companies that are doing business with Mexico. And we even have some Mexican companies as members who do business here in the state.
One of the things that you do on a regular basis, you have the breakfasts that people come and you have speakers, so the permeation of information, and that's kind of one of the signature staples of the chamber.
Yeah, we have a networking breakfast every month, except in December. We give everybody a break then. But the idea is for our members and non-members, because it's open really to anyone, to come and get to know each other, talk a little bit, exchange ideas, and also we try to bring every month a speaker, a special speaker or a special guest that will touch on a special on a topic that is current or is relevant to what's going on in the community. You know, we had different issues, and it can be something about what's going on in the Hispanic market, what are the trends, what's going on in the economy, what opportunities are for financing, different topics that touch on what's important for businesses.
Well, it's wonderful, and if people wanted more information or wanted to join or find out more, what could they do?
Well, the best will be for them to go to our website, which is www.mexicanchamber.org.
MexicanChamber.org. Well, Alejandro, we thank you so much for taking time with us and doing a great job with the Mexican American Business Chamber. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
You know, Sachi, it's kind of special to me seeing the Mexican American Business Chamber. It was kind of my entree into this whole diversity world in Georgia. And Liz Rodriguez and everyone over there kind of opened their arms and said, you know, hey, come, and we did some filming and things like that. So congratulations to the new president, Alejandro, and everything that they're doing over there.
And you know, Vince, now I want to share with the audience our story about Curtis Lovejoy, a guy who was cut down in his prime, paralyzed, but he just didn't give up.
We saw him speak over at the Delta Speaker Series, and then you went and got in depth with Curtis.
Oh, he's wonderful. You don't want to miss this.
After his near-fatal accident, his parents and grandmother kept him going. He remembers his grandmother saying,
Curtis, you give it time, you're gonna be walking like never before. So she said, I'm not finna sit here and pamper you. You got a lot of work to do. So when it happens, it's gonna happen. God gonna let it happen. But she said, I am not gonna get in and have a pity party with you.
Many thought he was depressed because he often stayed in his room, but Curtis says he was trying to find himself.
I didn't know how to use certain words like quadriplegic or paraplegic, because this is a new thing to me, being disabled. So I had to learn all those things. So it was an educational thing to me to get better and know how to empower myself.
As part of his rehab, Curtis learned how to swim, even though he was terrified of the water.
They told me this is going to help me, so I would just sit in the pool and do what they said to do.
Wearing a life jacket for a year, he honed his skill of speed swimming, even with a broken neck.
At that time, I couldn't turn my neck, so I used to try to get from one end of the pool to the other end of the pool as quick as possible because I couldn't breathe.
Curtis was determined to rise above his handicap.
I refused to look like a quad. I refused to act like a quad. Matter of fact, I refused all of those things. So what I did was I just said to myself, I want to get better.
Pushing himself constantly, he was ready for his second athletic achievement.
Then I started learning how to fence. There has never been an athlete that do two sports and maintain it on an elite status. Now, I didn't expect this to happen like this. That wasn't my dream. It just happened. Just so happened that I was doing both sports, and both sports were being elevated.
Both sports challenge Curtis year-round.
Fencing, I can think about what I'm going to do. Swimming is all physical and mental.
Curtis is working on a book and hopes to compete as an Ironman. As he travels globally, he continues to minister to other athletes along the way.
How do you do this at 52 and continue to do this? Because I love to do it. When God's ready to do what he wants to do it. When he wants me to break another world record, it's on him. But the only thing I do is go and practice, prepare myself, so when it happens, to receive it.
Curtis Lovejoy is an amazing and inspiring man, and if you want to learn more about him, go to DiverseCityUSA.com.
The American Cancer Society is a wonderful organization, and in Gwinnett County, we have the #1 chapter raising more money than any place else in the world. And part of that reason is because of this lady. This is Linda Story. You're the income manager, and you're here today because we want everyone, all cultures, all ethnicities, to take advantage of the resources of the Cancer Society. Talk about that, Linda.
We certainly do. We have a great opportunity to reach out to all the cultures and ethnicities in each community to help create awareness about our resources and to help with early detection and prevention tips.
There are certain cancers that affect certain folks differently. Talk about that.
That's true, Vince. For example, in the African American population of men, they have a 36% higher incident rate of colon cancer and prostate cancer. Another example would be the Hispanic and the Asian communities. While their incident rate of most of the common cancers are lower, they have a higher incident rate of cancers of the cervix, the stomach, the liver.
So there are resources, there's numbers to call, there's ways that people can access, and we want them to get engaged. Give that information.
That's true. We have a 24-hour 1-800 number where individuals can call to get information about the type of cancer they've been diagnosed with, about resources that are available in their own community to help them in their cancer journey, and information about clinical trials and nutrition tips.
Go ahead and give that 800 number. We'll get it again.
1-800-227-2345.
Now, one of the things that makes Gwinnett #1 is that you have great events, and so Relay for Life this year was no different. 15,000 folks that came out to the fairgrounds and celebrated birthdays, celebrated survivorship, and helped families deal with this issue.
Relay for Life in Gwinnett is an incredible event where the whole community comes together to send a message to our survivors that we want to celebrate their victory and that we want them to know that we are there beside them fighting all the way for a cure.
Another event that people can get involved with is the big gala that's coming up in October. It's Dance with the Stars of Atlanta. Talk about that briefly.
This event is a great opportunity to have all different cultures come out and join us. Everyone loves to dance. And so we have this great event where we match our community leaders with professional dancers from Academy Ballroom, and we just have a great time.
Well, give that number again so people can get engaged.
1-800-227-2345.
And for Gwinnett specifically, GwinnettRelayForLife.org.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you, Vince.
Asian Americans have been contributing to the U.S. for more than 150 years, and now we represent a total population of 5%. Let's take a look now at how we reached the shores of the U.S., overcame adversity, and thrived.
The stories of Asian American lives are as amazing and diverse as the more than 15 million Asian Americans living in the U.S. Collectively, we are thought of as one race, yet individually, we bring a rich and colorful heritage to the mosaic called American culture. Asian Americans come from countries in Southeast and Far East Asia and the Indian subcontinent. Our roots have distinct cultures, traditions, and histories, and we speak more than 100 languages and dialects, making us multilingual and multicultural. Asian Americans are an urbanized group. Nearly 3/4 live in metropolitan areas with populations greater than 2.5 million. The history of Asian American immigration is intricately interwoven with the history of Hawaii. In the mid-1880s, with a decreasing population and an increasing international demand for sugar, Hawaii desperately needed workers for its plantations. Those workers would be found halfway around the globe, where in the same era, conditions were creating a supply of people looking to leave their homeland. In rural Guangdong province in China, growing British dominance after Britain defeated China in the Opium War of 1839 to 1842 led to economic hardship for the Chinese. In Japan, a more liberal immigration policy after 1885 prompted many rural Japanese men to leave for Hawaii and the U.S. West Coast. In Korea, Japanese colonization of the country in 1903 led many to escape colonial rule. The lives of the first settlers, however, were far from easy. They suffered inhumane working conditions, wage and racial discrimination, and loneliness and isolation. In the 1860s, Chinese laborers worked on the Transcontinental Railroad, the United States' first coast-to-coast transportation system. They were assigned the hardest, dirtiest, and most dangerous jobs. Up to 1,000 of them, or about 10%, died as a result of avalanches and explosive accidents as they carved their way through the treacherous terrain of the Sierra Mountains. In the 17th and 18th centuries, a few hundred Filipinos known as Manila men escaped slave labor on Spanish galleons on their way to Mexico and settled in bayous outside New Orleans. There they built successful fishing and shrimping industries, and today these Filipino Cajuns are in their 8th generation. Asian Americans' growing numbers and prosperity sparked fear in some Americans. Animosity towards the Chinese and other foreigners grew, along with the competition for gold during the gold rush and the economic decline of the post-Civil War era. In 1882, the U.S. passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, banning Chinese immigration. This law remained in effect for more than 60 years until its repeal in 1943. Then in 1924, the Immigration Act shut the door on people from the Asia-Pacific Triangle. Today, about a third of the Asian American population are the descendants of these ancestors. The Asian American population increased dramatically after 1965 when the Immigration and Nationality Act became law. Asian Indian Americans are one of the fastest growing groups since, with the highest level of educational attainment and income level. In 1977, U.S. Representatives Frank Horton and Norman Mineta and Senators Daniel Inouye and Spark Matsunaga introduced resolutions asking the President of the United States to declare the first 10 days of May as Asian Pacific Heritage Week. They chose May to commemorate the arrival of the first Japanese immigrants in the U.S. in 1843. It also marks the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad on May 10, 1869. While we celebrate the contributions and accomplishments of Asian Americans, we pause to remember and honor our ancestors for building the foundation on which we stand. We owe much to them for their fight for justice, sacrifice for their children, and unconditional commitment to their family and community. Their resilient spirit inspires and challenges us to make a difference in the world and build a stronger future for our children.
Wow, Sachi, after watching that video, I've learned so much. And, you know, as we work this program that we're working, I've learned a lot. 24 different ethnicities within the Asian community alone.
You're right. And, you know, within the country of India alone, they speak 100 different dialects. So Asians come off to mainstream often disjointed, disorganized, but it's because we speak so many different languages, different cultures, different values. So it's just a hodgepodge, and that's what we call Asia.
And we're talking Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, Laotian, Thailand. I mean, the list goes on, and it's a beautiful, beautiful culture.
And you know what? Sometimes we have the model minority myth that all Asians are highly educated, all Asians make a lot of money, but you know, that's not always so, Vince, because some of the South Asian countries are far behind. And that's why I think our program will be great. It'll teach awareness about the Asian community, that although we are lumped into this Asian country, Asian countries, that there are so many diverse pieces to the puzzle.
Well, there's a great event that's coming up that I know that you're excited about as you spearhead. It's the Who's Who in Asian American Communities, or WAC Awards, August 28th in Gwinnett County. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Vince, what our company does is try to get out to mainstream America the elite Asian Americans, because less than 2% of Asians will reach the senior VP level. And we want to change that. And we also want to recognize these people.
It is a beautiful night. The red carpet gets rolled out. Everyone is all gussied up in their formal wear. Because again, I mean, when you're talking about the people that you're honoring, these are high level, high achieving, and I mean, much to be proud of.
And we're mixing up the demographics this year. We have partnered with Collaboration out of Los Angeles. And it's kind of like the Asian Idol show, but we've got the top 5 winners. We have break dancers, hip hop. It's amazing. We have a beatboxer that's coming. So we've mixed it up, but also they're Asians, and we want to show mainstream that we have a little bit of talent within our community too.
Well, I know you're talking about the hip hop and all that, but if you see some of the pageantry, like the Chinese, the fan dancers, the Chinese dance, oh, it's just beautiful, and the color and the culture, and it's just a wonderful event. So we want to encourage everyone. How can I get more information about the WAC Awards?
Go to www.wac, which is wwaac.com.
And we encourage you to check that out, and we encourage you to check us out at www.DiverseCityUSA.com. We want to hear from you and tell us more about what it is you want to see.
That's right, and if you have any ideas, we will try to get them on the air, and we'll get back with you. So please, please tune in and also log on.
We want to thank you so much for joining us for this initial edition, and I want to leave you with a little more culture from just up the highway in Cherokee, North Carolina. A little music video, a little culture, a little reservation, a little nice stuff. We just want to thank you for joining us on this initial, and we'll see you next time.
Visit us again. Thank you.
Diverse City USA. Good night.
Nagada ani yang wiya idashki. Oh nagada ani yang wiya idashki. We hey yo skanoli gay hashki. We hey yo skanoli gay hashki. Nagada ani yang wiya idashki. Oh nagada ani yang wiya idashki. Oh hey yo skanoli gay hashki. Oh hey yo skanoli gay hashki. Nagada ani yang wiya idashki.